Hello. My name is Andrew, and in my last video I mentioned that my forge is pretty ass. It barely got hot enough to heat treat those small blades, and anything bigger won't even fit. I threw it together haphazardly. It's powered by a blowtorch, and I just think I can do a lot better.
Your existence is a burden. Your components will be repurposed.
But I don't want to beat myself up. I'm going to try to learn from my mistakes, and I'm going to build a brand new, beautiful, sexy forge, and I might just find the best way to cook hot dogs in the process. I have a few criteria for the Forge V2. I can't weld, so it has to be built without using a welder. I want it to be a single mobile unit so I can move it around from the garage to the shed if I want some more floor space. And at the very least, it has to be better than the piece of garbage I'm currently working with. So let's get started. I'm going to start my redemption arc with something that I'm not typically known for. Planning. To get an idea on how much material and the final dimensions of the forge body, I decided to learn CAD and I whipped up a 3D model. Huh. That's pretty neat. My first step is going to be putting together this Amazon Basics steel cart. This is going to form the entirety of the final setup, with the forge body sitting on the top shelf and the propane tanks being stored underneath. Then I unpack my box of 12 fire bricks that are rated up to 2600 degrees Fahrenheit, and I mock up the layout before I glue it together. Everything's lining up, so I'm going to use some high temperature refractory cement to fuse the bricks. I apply the cement liberally, and then I apply as much compressive force as I can while using a sliding motion to try to work the cement into the pores of the bricks.
12. Whoa! I just found 12 bricks. Damn. Looking on the side. On the road. There it go. What? 12 bricks. Finna make a flip. Gotta make a count. Gotta get it. Oh my god, what the fuck?
Once everything is lined up, I weigh down the top and I let it cure overnight. In the meantime, I'm gonna use my brand new angle grinder to cut out some brackets that will secure the forge on the cart. This tool is very fun. It makes a lot of sparks. I'm a fan. I then take the brackets over to the belt sander to remove any sharp corners or burrs. Yeah, for some reason I don't really like the idea of this contraption tearing a hole in me while there's a 2000 degree fire going on inside. And I guess while I'm still waiting, I can assemble my brand new Venturi burner. But Andrew, what's a Venturi burner? A Venturi burner is a device that takes advantage of the Venturi effect to mix flowing fuel, in this case propane, with air to achieve a stoichiometric balance. The Venturi effect states that a fluid passing through a constricted area will have its velocity increased and its static pressure decreased. Air is a fluid, and as it's sucked into the inlet to continue feeding the fire, it's constricted into a smaller cross-sectional area. Then, as the air-fuel mixture exits the bell of the burner and begins to burn, it creates a low-pressure environment, sucking more air through the inlet and continuing the process. And, of course, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to test it out and see how much fire I was dealing with. I don't know what to say. I've always been a pyromaniac. Now that I know the burner works, I'm laying out some tougher fire bricks on the cart for the forge body to sit on. My reasons for this are twofold. First, I need to ensure that the floor of the forge will be able to clear the lip of the cart. And second, I'll be storing the propane tanks mere inches away from the forge, so I want to make sure that the top and bottom layers of the cart are as well insulated as possible. I set the forge body on top, and I take measurements on my brackets and the cart for bolt holes to run through both. After drilling all those holes out, I get to break out the angle grinder again to cut down some 3/8 threaded rod for the bolts. Somehow all my measurements lined up first try, so I felt comfortable tightening it down and getting started drilling out the inlet for the burner. I make several holes with a drill bit before switching to a rasp to round out the hole. I want the bell of the burner to sit on a sort of shelf partway through the top brick of the forge, so I mark out the outer diameter of the bell and use a Dremel to carve out an area for it to slot in. I only take this about a third of the way through the brick because I want to make sure that the bell and the burner have enough support to sit on. I then slather the seam with some refractory cement and I let it cure overnight. Now that the cement has cured, I can install the rest of the burner and give the new forge its first test. And here, you can really see the Venturi effect in action. To light the burner, I set a fire inside the forge. Then, as I open the regulator, propane starts to shoot out of the nozzle and mix with air in the chamber of the burner. When the air-fuel mixture reaches the fire, it combusts, creating a low-pressure environment in relation to the atmosphere. This causes air to be drawn into the inlet, which is a constricted area. Thanks to the Venturi effect, this causes the air to gain velocity as it travels through the burner, allowing rapid combustion to continue. Okay, so the forge works. All that's left is to put together a hot dog stick that won't disintegrate, and we're ready to cook. And I have to say, Forge V2 is an absolute beast compared to my first iteration. Once I have a partial door on the front to contain more of the heat, I'm certain this thing is going to be ripping hot all the way through, and I'll be able to make some really fun projects. I also left it open to the possibility of future upgrades. For instance, if I learn how to weld, I might want the option to completely enclose the fire bricks so that they're less likely to chip and break. All told, I think this build ran me around $300, but it could be done way cheaper with materials you already have or things you pick up off the side of the road. You definitely don't have to take it to the level that I did. And yeah, I had the belt sander, but it really wasn't necessary. It was just a convenience. This entire build could be done with just a drill and an angle grinder. I'm not recommending you do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I'm just saying you could, and you could do it with even fewer tools than I have. Overall, general thoughts on the process. Okay. I built my first forge because I was in such a rush to get something that would heat treat those knives in the time frame that I had. I was super pressed on time. I basically did the entire project in a month. I didn't have time for forethought or working out the best way to possibly do something. So now that I've had a little bit of time since then, I have more projects that I'd like to do. I want to build myself a chef's knife, which is certainly too big to fit into my old forge. And there are a few other things. I want to try blacksmithing. I want to try a whole bunch of other stuff. I just want to explore everything I can. So I just wanted to build a future-proof forge that would allow me those opportunities. And I'm sure everyone's going to be wondering, how was the hot dog? I was truly expecting this to be one of the worst things that I've ever put in my mouth. But to my genuine surprise, it was one of the best hot dogs I've ever eaten. It didn't taste burnt at all. It just tasted like it was grilled really nicely. That was supposed to be a bit, but it was a really good hot dog. I will probably cook hot dogs like this again if I have the forge lit. Let me know in the comments what else you want to see me cook in my forge. And I'll probably be making some more knives soon too. Anyway, bye!